So if you received a letter from IRS regarding $1,232 payment, do not lose it, it's a real one and the new information is coming out on this one. It's a breaking news, $1,232 stimulus check update from IRS. Now how can you claim back this money from IRS? Now when it comes down to those extra tax refund from IRS, well, there are some deadlines you need to consider and some requirements, and this information is coming straight from the official website of IRS. IRS completes automatic correction of tax year 2020 accounts related to unemployment compensation exclusion, and 12 million refunds will be issued through this one. So on Friday, January 6, 2023, IRS announced that it would be sending out around 12 million tax refund to Americans, and the payment will go to individuals who are eligible to get this extra money back due to American Rescue Plan Act. These refunds total around $14.8 billion, and the average amount for the individuals will be $1,232. Now most important question comes into our mind, why IRS is sending out those $1,232 tax refunds to eligible individuals? Well, quickly before we check it out all the details, make sure to subscribe to our channel. How to guys, with all the bell notification turn on, whether it's a raises to your benefits, stimulus update, we have got tons of updates onto our channel, so make sure to check those videos out. And without further ado, let's get right into all the important details. Okay, so now why IRS is sending out this stimulus money to eligible residents? Well, IRS recently completed the final corrections of the tax year 2020 accounts for taxpayers who overpaid on their taxes on unemployment compensation they received in year 2020. Now, with the American Rescue Plan Act of year 2021, which became a law in March 2021, and with this American Rescue Plan Act, they have excluded up to $10,200 in 2020 for the unemployment compensation from taxable income calculations. So, up to $10,200 for each of the spouse if they are married and filing as a jointly. And the exclusion applied for individuals and married couples whose modified adjusted gross income was less than $150,000. And they are taking this step to ease the burden on taxpayer. IRS took a step to review the forms 1040 and 1040 SR that was filed prior to the law enacted before the law taken into the action in order to identify those taxpayers who already reported unemployment compensation as income and were eligible for the correction. And finally, IRS has determined the correct taxable amount of unemployment compensation and their taxes. Therefore, some of the taxpayers received refunds while others had overpayment applied to their taxes due or other debts. And in some of the cases, the exclusion only resulted in a reduction in their adjusted gross income. IRS already mailed out a letter to those taxpayers who are eligible for this one in order to inform them of all the important corrections. And remember, taxpayers should keep this letter with their tax records for all sorts of unnecessary proofs, and don't lose out on this letter. Taxpayers should keep this letter with their tax records, so just in case. And IRS already corrected approximately 14 million tax returns, and this resulted in nearly 12 million refunds totaling of $14.8 billion, with average refund coming at $1,232. Now here is the important bit. Many of those adjustments also included corrections related to earned income tax credit, formerly known as EITC, recovery rebate credit, RRC, additional child tax credit, American opportunity tax credit, premium tax credit, advanced premium tax credit. So these are many of the adjustments which are included as a part of the corrections. Now what you should do in order to claim this stimulus money? Now if a taxpayer is eligible for the unemployment compensation exclusion, okay, so now how you can claim this stimulus money? First step first, taxpayer, that is, you must know whether you are eligible for the unemployment compensation exclusion or not. Now first thing, you need to log into IRS and then check out your account, and there you can check out all the important details such as your last year tax returns. Now in the last year's tax returns, if you filed, you as a taxpayer, if you are eligible for unemployment compensation exclusion and on the last year your account was not corrected by the IRS, then you need to file an amended 2020 tax returns in order to claim the exclusion and any applicable non-refundable or refundable non-refundable credits impacted by the exclusion. Also, one important thing, taxpayers should not file an amended return if they have previously filed one claiming the exclusion. If you got any sort of a question on 2020 unemployment compensation exclusion, well, you can check this page for the eligibility, calculation of your exclusion, claiming the exclusion, how you can claim those, what sorts of a form you need to fill for your amended return, your impact on income, credit and deductions, all the details on receiving refund, letter and notices, and pretty much all the details. Now, when it comes down to those extra tax refund from IRS, well, there are some deadlines you need to consider and some requirements. First thing, keep in mind that the tax break is for the individuals who earn less than $150,000 in adjusted gross income for only unemployment compensation received during the 2020 and not in year 2021. And how can you really check if you have overpaid on your taxes in unemployment benefits in 2020? And well, actually the best way is to check out on online IRS account, where you can check out all of your old tax returns including 2021, and after you receive your 2020 tax script, you can check your form 1040 schedule 1 line 8, and there you'll see the unemployment compensation exclusion. If you see that if you have received jobless benefits and didn't enter an exclusion, you can use this compensation exclusion worksheet in the instructions to calculate your amount. And if you have received unemployment income in 2020, then you did not claim the exclusion even though if you're eligible, and then you can get additional tax refund money from the IRS by filing an amended tax return. Now, how can you claim back this money from IRS? Well, for that you need to file an amended tax return for that year, that is 2020. You need to use the form 1040-X, which is included in all the best tax softwares. Now, generally speaking of the deadline, we are talking about 2 years after you paid those taxes due, or 3 years after you have filled your original return, whichever is later. And if you have filled your tax returns on time, then your filing date is considered to be the tax deadline. So therefore, July 15 in 2020 was the important date. So from that day, you should consider like 3 years. So let's say like July 15, 2023, this should be the deadline to file an amended tax return. So remember, July 15, 2023, you should get your job done by this important date. Make sure to file an amended tax return with form 1040-X, and you'll also need to complete annually both IRS forms 1040 and 1040 schedule 1. IRS generally estimate about 16 weeks to process those amended returns, but now they have more than 20 weeks, and right now IRS has a backlog of 454,000 unprocessed forms of 1040-X. With that being said, I hope you found this video helpful, so make sure to hit that like, share this video, subscribe to our channel How To Guys with all the bell notification to check out other videos from our channel. And this is Kedar from How To Guys signing out.